Well, guys, with literal hours before the end of the franchise tag deadline, the Buccaneers pulled a slam dunk alley-oop on all of us, and they signed Donovan Smith to a massive 3-year contract extension. So, let's talk about it. For everybody who doesn't know, although I'm sure pretty much all of you know at this point, here are the basic numbers of the contract. It is a 3-year, $41.25 million contract with $27 million guaranteed. And when I saw this on my phone when I was at work today, I audibly went, oh my god, because now what is going to happen is that the pressure that is going to be on Donovan Smith is going to be absolutely insane. Donovan Smith is now getting paid as the numbers of a top 5 left tackle in this league, which means if he does not perform up to the expectations of that contract and the money that he is getting, the heat that he is going to get is going to be nuclear. I mean, absolutely nuclear. Donovan Smith could very well become one of the more hated Tampa Bay Buccaneers in recent memory if he does not perform up to the expectations of this contract. Now, I am feeling a little bit positive in terms of his development overall because of this brand new coaching staff, and I really like Harold Goodwin, but he needs to get better because as it stands, as a lot of us have said in the past, as good moments as Donovan Smith has had, he's also had his bad moments as well, and he has generally been inconsistent, all things considered. Now, that obviously doesn't stop the fact that there was going to be a lot of competition for left tackles in this upcoming free agency, and the Buccaneers were going to be really hard-pressed to find a replacement for Donovan Smith, but giving him this much money now, things are going to be a lot more critical in terms of the overall play and development of Donovan Smith here in the next 3 years. I personally liked the idea of the franchise tag because I thought that it was a decent idea just to have a 1-year situation and then reevaluate things next year. But with this 3-year deal being done, it actually does save the Buccaneers a little bit of cap space between doing this and doing the franchise tag. It saves them $1.6 million in cap space. So right now, as it stands, the Buccaneers have probably around $2 million in cap space, I believe, maybe a little bit less. Donovan Smith, he's making $13.75 million a season. That's obviously not the exact number because there's a lot of bits and bobbles in these types of contracts that have a lot of different types of languages and whatnot, but that's kind of just the rough estimate. So yes, while it did save the Buccaneers a little bit of money, I still prefer the idea of the franchise tag, but the deal is done. Donovan Smith is going to be here for the next 3 seasons. And what's really interesting, and actually Greg Auman of The Athletic pointed this out on Twitter, was the Buccaneers are the only team in the NFL who have 3 offensive linemen that are making at least $10 million or more than $10 million per year on their team. There are 10 teams in the league that have 0 players making that much money or more on their team. The Buccaneers have 3 of them, the most in the entire league, which I think is very interesting and kind of worries me a little bit because, yes, you do have a good offensive lineman in Ali Marpet and Ryan Jensen, but now you have Donovan Smith in there as well, and how this offensive line does in the next couple of years is going to be very key to the overall success of the Buccaneers because that is where a lot of the money is. Obviously, last year, the offensive line did not do a very good job, and it needs to improve. You can't be paying 3 guys over $10 million a year and expect to have mediocre play. The Buccaneers now should have one of the better offensive lines in the entire league, at least based on what a handful of these guys are making. 3 starters are making $10 million or more a year. They should be one of the best offensive lines in the league. And I know there's going to be a lot of fans who are going to be upset and say, Donovan Smith's trash, Donovan Smith doesn't deserve this kind of money, and I completely understand. I wanted the franchise tag. I wanted to see things get reevaluated next year and then go from there. But regardless, the deal is done, and it's all up to the coaching now. How these guys develop and how these guys gel as an overall unit is going to be huge because if things do not end up working out, this team is going to look very foolish because if the offensive line continues to be a middle-of-the-pack unit or continues to even be below average in certain situations, especially in their run blocking, then this team and general manager Jason Light is going to look very foolish for giving that many offensive linemen that much money. I feel Obviously, in terms of Ali Marpet and Ryan Jensen, it's a little bit more justified, but Donovan Smith has a lot to prove, and he needs to take very big leaps and very big bounds in terms of his overall improvement and his overall development to show that he qualifies and he is justified in earning that much money. For Jason Licht, it is a heavy gamble. I cannot stress that enough, how much of a gamble this is. And like I said in the past video talking about the franchise tag, it completely obliterates any type of cap space that the Buccaneers had. But obviously expect a few cuts to be made here in the coming days. The Buccaneers aren't gonna, aren't gonna be completely out of it in this offseason. They're still gonna try and re-sign a couple of guys here and there. They still might sign a free agent here or there. They could still go for a guy like Tyrann Mathieu. They're just in a little bit of a trickier cap situation now. And Donovan Smith, he's earning a lot of money, and he certainly has a lot to prove. But let me know what you guys think about all of this down in the comment section below. What do you think about this contract extension? Do you agree with it? Do you disagree with it? Let me know what you think about all of it down in the comment section below. I hope you guys all enjoyed this video, and as always, I'll see you in the next video or the next live stream. But until then, and as always, goodbye for now, and go Bucs.